without further ado, I'd like to introduce FOSI's founder and CEO, Stephen Balkam. And I'll borrow a phrase I heard earlier today, the man, the myth, the legend, who's really been a driving force of FOSI and really helped it become this incredible convening power and bringing all you different kinds of people from all different kinds of perspectives and backgrounds here. So without further ado, Mr. Stephen Balkam.
Thank you for that very kind introduction, Sarah, and I want to echo her words of thanks to the FOSI staff team, because this is our first year in 5 years that we haven't had our events coordinator, Amy, who many of you got to know over the last few years, and so everyone has really pitched in together to make this happen, so thank you very much for that. Also, thank you for your support, and I want to begin by acknowledging our sponsors. Our gold sponsors of Amazon, AT&T, Comcast, Google, Microsoft, and Verizon. Silver sponsors, CTIA, Facebook, MeetMe, TeenSafe, and Twitter, and also to Hogan Lovells, Netflix, and Snapchat. And I know this is a time-honored thing to say, but again, without their financial support, we would simply not be here today. So I would like actually to embarrass them all by asking them, the sponsors and the FOSI board members, please to stand up and be recognized. Round of applause. So I'd also like to add my welcome to this, our 10th annual conference. As you heard, we have a tremendous range of keynotes and plenaries and breakouts and exhibitors that cover the full spectrum of online safety issues, from cyberbullying to the Internet of Things, from connected toys, and you'll be hearing and seeing those a lot today, to the digital lives of African American tweens. We're going to hear about the latest technology tools to help protect kids online, the newest thinking about online privacy, and we'll hear best practices from around the world. And we have folks who have traveled from around the world to be here today. So please get your hands on the exhibits, the interactive toys and devices that are just outside of the hall here, and get to see where this extraordinary movement is taking us. And also please stay with us to the end of the day when we will have drinks and very nice refreshments upstairs, an opportunity for you to connect and to reconnect with the wonderful, vibrant community that is the online safety world. So we have come a long way since 2007, the very first year that we gathered. That was the year that the iPhone was launched, and it brought with it a sea change in the way that we thought about online safety. No longer were kids and young adults sitting at a desktop tethered to the wall by power and other cables. They were walking around with the internet in their pockets. And they were using devices that had more computing power than NASA had at its disposal to put two men on the moon in 1969. And here we are 10 years later, and we are experiencing a new shift. One that builds on the mobile platforms that we've all become accustomed to. But now we see the promise of the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, machine learning, virtual and augmented reality devices, all converging into new and unknowable futures. We are seeing toys, tools, personal assistants, and even robots that no longer need screens or keyboards to interact with. We are seeing our cars, if we're lucky enough to have a Tesla, being upgraded from the cloud and gaining levels of autonomy unthinkable a decade ago. We are seeing our educational systems being reinvented and redrawn as technology makes greater inroads into our classrooms and lecture halls. And we are connecting and communicating in ways that bring us together instantaneously around the world, but that can, at the same time, isolate us into our own echo chambers and ideological bubbles. We see what happens when fake news infects our feeds, when online taunts and tweets are used to intimidate or drown out our civil discourse. We see how these extraordinary platforms can be manipulated to spread hate and extremism and used to recruit for lethal purposes. And we watched a presidential campaign and election unfold in real time on social media without the filters and editorial decisions that have traditionally been a part of our democratic process. 8 years ago, from this very stage, we marked the transition from one US administration to another. As some of you will recall, Andrew McLaughlin, who later became the Deputy CTO for the United States, joined us from the Obama transition team to outline many of the tech initiatives that the new administration was considering. Over the past 8 years, we've been pleased to see this current administration take steps to address online safety issues, from convening cyberbullying events to engaging stakeholders on the Lockdown Your Login campaign, to issuing reports on emerging technology issues such as artificial intelligence. Just last year, we were joined at our conference by the Deputy CTO, Alexander McGilvray. Additionally, we have seen activity on the Hill in recent years on student data privacy, revenge porn, and the Internet of Things. And as the new Congress begins in January, we look forward to working with the new and current members on these and more issues. So in this election cycle, we approached both presidential campaigns with our own proposals. And then, after the election, we invited members of the Trump transition team to join us here today. Unfortunately, no one from the team was able to be with us. We have also noted that the next First Lady has committed to focusing on the issue of cyberbullying, and we stand ready to work with her on tackling that very challenging issue. We will continue our outreach to the new administration and after this conference today, and we will call upon the White House to take the issue of online safety seriously and thoughtfully, to take an evidence-based, not a fear-based approach, to emphasize the need to create a culture of responsibility online and pursue reasonable government oversight and support, to acknowledge the risks, mitigate the harms, while remaining focused on the rewards that digital technology can bring. And so, to that end, we ask the new administration to do the following 4 things. First, to create the post of Chief Online Safety Officer in the office of the CTO, to bring together the online safety efforts across the administration and departments, including the FTC, FCC, Departments of Education, Commerce, Justice, and State, as well as the Office of Science and Technology Policy. Secondly, to create a cross-agency online safety working group chaired by the Chief Online Safety Officer to regularly convene relevant government departments involved in online safety work and to hear from relevant industry, NGO, and academic bodies on these issues. Thirdly, to establish an annual White House Online Safety Summit, bringing together leaders in government, industry, NGOs, education, and science to address the concerns and challenges, particularly for children and young people online, as well as to highlight the best practices and the many positive benefits of our online lives. And lastly, to create a $25 million research and education fund over 5 years to benchmark the various trust and safety indices and to create evidence-based educational programs and messaging for children and their parents. Some of you will know the European Commission-funded EU Kids Online, for instance, is a good model for creating the objective baseline of research upon which educational efforts can be built. With these proposals in place, parents and caregivers will be better equipped and empowered to protect their children while giving them the freedom to explore, create, and share online. Tech companies can bring attention to the many trust, safety, and privacy measures they have already put in place and will be encouraged to stay ahead of the curve as new technologies, apps, and services are deployed. The US government will have improved coordination and information about online safety risks and be better placed to steer policy responses. And the academic community will have the ability to conduct sound research and develop evidence-based curricula across age groups and ability levels to better identify and respond to the challenges and opportunities of our digital world. And we hope you will join us in this endeavor, and we look forward to engaging more with the transition team and the next administration to work towards these goals. Let us all use the extraordinary power of social media, apps, and other platforms to rebuild community, to foster trust, and deepen empathy among users, young and old, to remind ourselves of our core principles and values, and to be good digital role models to our own children and young people, and to make the online world safer, more inclusive, and a more tolerant place for digital citizens everywhere. Thank you very much.